Hello, we're non-avian reptiles group 2, and our project is on the American alligator. The taxonomy of the American alligator is Kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Reptilia, order Crocodilia, family Alligatoridae, genus Alligator, and species Alligator mississippiensis. The American alligator is a large semi-aquatic reptile similar to crocodiles. Their body is around 6 to 14 feet and it's covered in dark green, almost black scales that are very coarse. Its head is long and large and has visible teeth on its upper jaw. Its front feet have 5 toes and the rear feet have 4 webbed toes.
The American alligator is found in the southeastern United States, with a broad habitat range going from the southern coast of Texas up to coastal North Carolina. They tend to be in coastal marshes most commonly, but they inhabit any fresh water they can find, like rivers, lakes, marshes, swamps, bayous, canals, and ponds. They also can tolerate salt water for short periods of time, but they tend to stay away from it for the most part.
A few different methods were used to explore the properties of the peptides in the plasma of these alligators. Circular dichroism spectroscopy was used to determine the secondary structure of the peptides. This is a method of absorption spectroscopy that can determine the secondary structure of molecules by determining variations in circularly polarized light produced by the molecule spectra. Antimicrobial properties were tested using serial dilutions of 4 types of drug-resistant bacteria with and without dilutions of A. mississippiensis plasma samples to create an experimental and a control group respectively. In this study, serial dilutions were used as a controlled way of testing different concentrations of the peptides to understand how potency affects interactions with bacteria. The hemolytic properties were assessed via plating techniques as A. mississippiensis peptides were compared to LL37, a human antimicrobial peptide. Hemolytic activity is a measure of how much hemoglobin is released due to the lysis of red blood cells as they interact with peptides. Plasma peptides were tested in contact with sheep's blood and incubated for an hour to explore the presence or absence of this property.
The researchers focused on 3 of the peptides that they discovered using a novel bioprospector process. The 3 peptides that they focused on were APO5, APO6, and A1P. The researchers found that all 3 of these peptides presented significant antimicrobial activity against antibiotic-resistant E. coli, B. cereus, S. aureus, and P. aeruginosa at concentrations of 50 micrograms per milliliter. Essentially, they were able to permeate the membranes of these bacteria, even though they were resistant to antibiotics. Additionally, they found that APO5 and APO6 peptides were able to permeate the membrane of antibiotic-resistant E. coli at concentrations lower than 50 micrograms per milliliter by depolarizing the membrane and forming pores. The depolarization caused ion leakages, which disrupted the ion and chemical gradients in bacterial cells. This disruption caused the bacterial cells to die. At the same lower concentration, the A1P took this significantly longer to permeate the membrane of the antibiotic-resistant E. coli. Therefore, the researchers concluded that A1P doesn't depolarize the membrane of bacterial cells, so it likely serves a different purpose than the other 2 peptides.
The significance of this research impacts both humans and the American alligators. For people, as stated before, the multiple antimicrobial peptides isolated from the alligator can be used to act against many different multi-drug resistant strains of bacteria. Drug-resistant bacteria are becoming increasingly prevalent due to the increased use and misuse of antibiotics. These bacteria are estimated to cause nearly 40 million deaths between now and 2025, making this a significant issue. For the alligators, the potential benefits they pose for human health will help encourage greater conservation efforts for their population. In the late 20th century, the American alligator was listed as endangered and was placed under federal protection by the Endangered Species Act. The noticeable decline in the alligator population was mainly due to years of overhunting for their meat and hides. The population has since seen significant growth, meaning their current IUCN status is least concern. However, there's a new threat to the American alligator population. The southern coast of the United States has seen sea level rises even faster than the global average, which is leading to a decreased population of the American alligator due to their habitat loss since more water is becoming saltwater, which they can't live in for an extended period of time. The discovery of direct potential benefits of American alligators to human health will help their conservation remain prevalent as they are undergoing yet another threat. These are our sources, and thank you for listening.